Getting on my good side.
And welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. Matt Delvecchio here, specializing in home care, elder care planning, and the senior living industry. Today is our 7-year anniversary of Life Unrehearsed. What a ride it has been. But really, nothing compared to the career of Ken Connors. And as you might have heard here on CJAD, Ken will be retiring soon. And it was announced this week that Joanne Vrakis will be taking over the weekend show here on CJAD, I think starting the second week of April. And when I was planning for the 7th anniversary show, I thought it'd be great to have Ken on the show so our listeners can hear about his fascinating career in radio and television, I might add. You know, I started Life Unrehearsed 7 years ago, and Ken has been a real mentor and inspiration for me, and I really mean that. He would always send me some words of encouragement and would occasionally ask me to be a guest on his show, whether it be for seniors-related issues, which I do in my day-to-day life, or to set things up on Sunday mornings to preview who's coming up on Life Unrehearsed later in the day. And it really meant a lot to me to have his support and knowing that his veteran presence had my back all the time. So Ken, I'm honored to have you on my anniversary show. And first, I want to thank you for all that you've done for me and the show. And congratulations for what you've done for CJD. And let me be, I guess, one of the first of many to wish you a happy and well-deserved retirement.
Oh, that's so kind of you, Matt. Thank you for having me. Too kind. You should have been my press agent. Saying such nice things about me all these years. Congratulations on your anniversary as well.
Well, thank you very much,
nice.
Ken. And, you know, from what I understand, I talk retirement, but it's going to be a long sunset from what I understand, right?
Yeah. We came to an agreement where I would, my final weekend is next weekend after hosting weekends with Ken and the Weekend Morning Show for since August of 2016. But I'm going to sort of ease into retirement this year by filling in every now and then when Mr. Carter goes on holiday.
Great. Well, glad we're going to hear your voice and you'll still be around here in the background every now and then. So let's hear about a little bit about yourself, Ken. And you're a Montrealer, I think. Where'd you grow up?
I just want to get this out of the way because it's kind of awkward. I brought beaver tails as well for you guys, and someone beat me to the punch. Did I miss an email?
Maybe I didn't send it to you, Ken. My apologies.
Right. I born and raised in Ville Saint Laurent, and I still live in Saint Laurent. I always kind of smile at the fact that I where I live now in Saint Laurent is about 5 minutes from where I went to high school and then elementary school, so I haven't drifted too far.
But you went full circle, didn't you?
Yeah. I started my radio career in Ontario, in Northern Ontario, in Kirkland Lake in 1984, and then I moved down to Guelph, just outside Toronto, and I worked there for a couple of years at a radio station. Then I moved a little closer to Montreal, got closer to home. I accepted a job offer in Ottawa at a rock station in 1989, and I was only there for 6 months. And when Shoma came calling and heard about this young kid who wanted to come home to Montreal, and he was in radio, and so they offered me the all-night show in 1989 on Shom.
In 1989,
Yes.
And there's another familiar female voice at Shom, I think, that was involved at that time, wasn't there?
Oh, yes, my old pal, I don't want to call her old, but Christine Long, who's on with me every Saturday mornings on my show. Christine Long, I believe, was at McGill at the time in 1989, and she was doing the all-night show. And so when I first went into the station, she trained me on the board. And she showed me the ropes, and it's great that we've been together all these years as friends and working
Amazing.
together.
Christine's great. In fact, she's going to be on Life Unrehearsed next month, as a matter of fact.
Cool,
yeah,
cool.
Listening to Life Unrehearsed. I think you know that voice. That's Ken Connors here. As you might have heard, we'll be going into retirement or somewhat of a retirement, and I thought it would be great to have Ken on the 7-year anniversary here on Life Unrehearsed. Ken means a lot to me and has helped me out a lot as well. So you made it to Shom, and but radio wasn't your only shtick, was it?
Well, I worked at Shoma all through the 90s, and then I moved on to work at Mix 96 for Standard Broadcasting, and while I was there, the timeline's a little fuzzy as you get older, but I guess it was there that I worked. I did a little TV work at Global TV with my pal Tracy McKee. She was the host of This Morning Live on Global Television, a breakfast show. So I did many years of, I think once a week I went in and did entertainment reports, and occasionally I think I filled in on sports on the evening newscast, and so that was fun. It's a whole different animal working in television.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
And then radio.
You have to worry about your appearance. Like radio.
Not a face for radio.
Where you haven't shaved in 2 weeks and you can still come into work. Yeah.
And then radio lured you back, didn't it?
Yeah, I was still in radio the whole time, mind you. I was
Okay.
doing double duty.
Got it.
I think I was working the midday shift at Mix 96 for a while. Then I moved up to the morning show at Mix 96, and then moved on to work at 940 News. and did the morning show there for a while, and then it was all in the same building, by the way, for a while, because there were different owners of the radio stations, but I worked at 940 News, a year at Q92, and then transitioned to the Beat, and I worked at the Beat doing the weekend morning show, the 92.5 for about 5 years.
Wow, talking with Ken Connors here on Life Unrehearsed.
I get tired just saying it all, going through the resume. I'm exhausted, and then
every time I talk to you, can you add one more to it?
And I coached the Canadians for a little while in the 1990s too, during the lean years,
and CEO of Beaver Tails for a little while, obviously with your connections there. Then where's the connection with CJAD? When did you start? And did you start right away on the weekend show? Is that how it would work? Or?
Yeah, I was actually quite happy, and I enjoyed my role at the Beat 92.5. I was when CJAD called in the spring of 2016. I was doing a little part-time air work, but I was more in management, in programming. And then Mr. Chris Berry called me. I remember the morning I was at the airport going to Florida or going somewhere, and the phone rang, and I had him in my contact list because Chris and I go way back. And I looked at it. You know when the phone rings and you see the name, you go, I wonder, what's he calling me about? I haven't talked to him in a while. And he told me Dave Fisher was retiring, and would you be interested in coming over and taking over the weekend morning show? And so we had a series of meetings over the few months, and I started in August of 2016.
My goodness, almost 8 years already.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, time flies. Oh my goodness.
You know, I have to ask you. Just you've interviewed a lot of people in your career and at CJAD. If you were to pick one or two that stood out, any that stand out, as I put you on the spot here.
Various prime ministers. You did put me on the spot. You know what was great? I can tell you this quickly. I really enjoyed the fact, and we were spoiled when we worked on Green Avenue at Shome in the 1990s when I was there. I did the afternoon show, and I did the electric lunch hour, the midday show. The fact that Green Avenue, as you know, is 2 blocks from Atwater and St. Catherine and the old Montreal Forum. So all these artists were in concert at the Montreal Forum. The local record company rep or promoter would, after their sound check in the afternoon, would just walk them the 2 blocks to Green Avenue and come on the air with us. And we were spoiled by everyone in the music industry. Would come through our doors for interviews. So that was a real treat. We were spoiled.
And you talk about that door. What's the address on Green?
1310 Green.
Okay. Yeah. And a lot of rock stores, they kept that door.
Yeah, they preserved the door.
And that door is right here in the studios.
It's a piece of Montreal history. Yeah, it's down the hall.
Yeah. Just fascinating. Yeah. All right, talking with Ken Connors here on Life Unrehearsed on our 7th anniversary show. Ken's reminiscing about his illustrious career, and he's going to be taking a bit of a retirement over the next little while. Now, Ken, you are a music lover. I would say you're a walking encyclopedia, or as the kids say, you're a walking Google these days. You've been to many, many concerts. Again, going to put you on the spot. If you had to pick out one or two that you've been to, and you've been to a lot, any stand out?
Off the top of my head, I went to see Bruce Springsteen in 2000 in New York City at Madison Square Garden when he reunited with the E Street Band. I think they were apart for maybe 10 years, so that was a definite highlight. That was a great show. George Michael, the late George Michael. Back in, I believe it was 2010, he did a 25th anniversary tour that came to the Bell Center, and it was just an absolutely gorgeous night of music. Sade, during the Jazz Fest back in 2008, she just put on a fantastic show. I wish she'd come back to Montreal. Hall & Oates at the Spectrum in the early 90s. It was a great night and such a great intimate venue. The Spectrum, of course, not there anymore. It's become that spot on St. Catherine is now filled with a condo. Surprisingly. Paul McCartney at the Forum in 1989, a memorable night for Beatle fans and McCartney fans. And the first concert my wife and I went before we were married, we started dating in 1980. I feel bad saying that in front of your young guest. 1980. Oh, my goodness. We went to see a Joe Jackson concert at Théâtre Saint-Denis, and it was quite memorable. So those are just a few that stand out.
Yeah, and you know what? You could probably go on and on with those concerts.
I could, yeah. How much time do you have?
That's right. Well, it's amazing, and I listened to you during the trivia show and so on, and just fascinating with your musical repertoire.
Isn't radio great, Matt? You know, it's that one-on-one connection you make with the listener. It's very personal, it's very intimate, and it's a great job, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, we're going to miss that soothing voice, you know, and I want to wish you the very, very best, Ken. Is it fair to ask future plans, or just going to lay low for a bit, and what's on the horizon?
You know what? I'm going to lay low. I'm going to lay low and just enjoy having the weekends off, but I'll stay busy. And like I said, Aaron and Rand and I were joking a couple of days ago when he had me on a show. I think Andrew gets about 14 weeks of holiday during the summertime. So I will be busy. Andrew, that's just a joke, of course. But he's whatever vacation he takes is well-deserved because he's been getting up early 5 days a week for many, many years. So I'm more than happy to fill in for him when he goes on holiday.
Well, glad you're going to be filling in for Andrew. Well, thank you very much, Ken. And again, wishing you all the best, you and your wife, and all the dogs you dog sit as well.
The dogs will keep me busy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you, Ken. Appreciate
Matt,
you.
congratulations again on your good run, and keep it up.
Thank you.